Greetings, world. We are at the beginning of a new day and a new week, new possibilities, excitement about plans that we've made over the weekend for what we're going to do differently and the different things that we're going to do because there's always a slight twist, right? Today, I just wanted to share about this thing I call faux connection, as in FAUX, false connection. I think the crisis, this time it's about a pandemic, but there's always going to be some form of crisis underway, and they tend to unleash all sorts of good and not so good behaviors. I mean, I've enjoyed truly connecting with people, and I also haven't enjoyed connecting with other people. And let me share why. A connection for me happens at the level of the heart, right? It's outside the wavelength of the ego. It is, I'm connecting from my heart, hopefully connecting to yours. So when somebody reaches out, I always ask why they're reaching out, but I also pay attention to how they're reaching out. Because very quickly, somebody says, hey, how are you? And even before I say I'm fine, then they slide in a request. And that's what I call a faux connection. Or the person who says they miss you, you connect and all they do is pick your brain, or the one who invites you somewhere and then asks you to bring a famous friend. So clearly that it's not your company they want, it's your famous friend they want. Or the one who brings you to tell you their sorrows and you're a compassionate friend and you listen. But when you have sorrows to share, they can't speak because the kids are crying, my husband's just come back, I've got to take this other call for work, but they've got 1,000,001 excuses for why they're not available to support you. Oh, and my favorite, the relative who invites you somewhere, maybe it's their new house or to dinner, and you didn't realize that you actually were going to be an audience. So if it's to their house, it's so she or he can brag about how much this costs, where this comes from. Like, this comes from Italy, this comes from France, this is from my travels in Morocco, this is when my boo and I were in Bali. So basically what you didn't realize is that you were going in for a geography lesson. Or the one who invites you out so they can show you the beautiful car parked under the glistening sunlight. I'm sharing these things to just say, then you realize that in those moments you actually were not necessarily missed or a person of value in that transaction. Basically, you were just an audience and the person needed somebody to applaud them, right? Or maybe you've also been that person who's invited someone. Like, I'll give you an example with me. My tribe knows that I get easily uncomfortable around money. So when the 6 of us and we've had dinner and the other one had 3 glasses of wine, I had champagne always, and somebody else had a beer. When the bill comes, for me, I always think the adult thing is just to divide it by the number of bodies there. No, but there are people who will say, no, but I had half a leaf of the lettuce, 2 pieces of cucumber, therefore I should be paying 23 rands. And because I get uncomfortable with those sort of discussions, because I think they take away from the beauty of the connection, I end up just paying. It's good because it means we get over it and we can move on to other things. It is bad because it means I end up funding the social outings of my tribe. So I've also paid attention to this other person who will invite me out for a drink and then they have forgotten their card, or God forbid, they've got a new card but the PIN doesn't work. Either way, that person is taking advantage of my discomfort around money and paying bills, so I end up just paying. And I walk away thinking, but why did I pay when she's the one who invited me somewhere, right? So, and then I feel used in those situations. I feel angry, and then I plot how not to answer them the next time, when the adult thing to do literally is the next time somebody calls me and says, the next time that person calls me and says, hey, let's meet for a drink, I'll say, are you inviting me out for a drink? Because if you are, then it's your treat, and thank you so much. So I'm making it clear up front that I am expecting you to pay, and I'm going to show up with my liver and my fine alcohol tastes, and you will treat me for a change. So I am sharing this to just remind us, to remind you, wherever you are, to be mindful of when you say, I want to connect with so and so, what are your intentions? Is it to give or to get? I honestly do believe that when we all come from a place of giving, the getting takes care of itself. So when you reach out to connect, truly connect. I'd encourage you to just listen. I think when we've been with people for a while, we start assuming that we know what they'll say. And that's when we actually start missing out on the moments when people really need us. In my community, I've had to teach my friends and my family especially to stop using the word strong. When I was younger, being called strong was fantastic because it said I was in charge, I was ambitious, I had a plan, I was getting ahead. But now I prefer to be called courageous or brave, because what that means for me is that brave or courageous doesn't mean fearlessness. It means the ability to move forward despite the fear. Whereas strong just says unbreakable. And it is not true that I am unbreakable. It's actually not true that anybody is unbreakable. Because if you're human, then it's written into our DNA that we are breakable. So when somebody shares with you, or you are connecting with somebody and they're sharing with you, please challenge yourself to truly, truly listen. And then learn, allow yourself to learn something new from each connection. Even when it's somebody you've known for 10 years, for 17 years, for 16 weeks, there's always something new to learn. And it's refreshing when a friend can say to me, for example, I appreciate how you have shifted your position on matter X. I walk away feeling so encouraged. One, because effort is breeding results, but also that my friends take the time to nurture me and to correct me and to raise me. The other thing to think about is just to invest in the exchange, right? So let's enrich the connection. If I can walk away feeling super elated when somebody says something affirming and encouraging about a behavioral pattern that I'm adopting, then surely I can extend that to them as well. Because however good you feel when somebody says something fantastic, remember that feeling and try and impart it as well. And pay attention. There's a particular girlfriend who we now have a code, right? So if she's feeling fragile, she'll say, it's cotton wool, which means I can't rag her too much on that day. I just need to tread carefully. But if she says it's blue skies, it means she's feeling super bright and brave, and we can have the light and deep conversations. So in the days ahead, when you do reach out, either to friends, family, colleagues, professional connections, collaborators, suppliers, whatever term you use for people you work with, I'm encouraging you to have a very clear intention. Because when our intentions are pure, I have found in my lived experience that the outcome is equally uplifting. But remember always that this is me just sharing from my lived experience. I'm not in any way dictating to you what to do. I'm not in any way presenting myself as the prototype. All I'm just doing on this channel is sharing thoughts as they come. And if you find it useful, fantastic. And if it doesn't connect, that's also fantastic. Because not everything is for everyone. So in the weeks and the days ahead, I send you, as always, clarity, so your decision making is uncluttered, and courage, that even though you may be shaking in your boots, that you will continue to move forward, because progress is just that, right? It's moving forward. Until next time, namaste.